The founder of NAWD was Dr. Earl Room, Director of Student Activities for the Denver Public Schools and Jefferson County Public Schools in Colorado. He was the author of leadership education materials, Magician Supreme, and a noted speaker at student conferences promoting the value and impact of student activities.
Earl Room came to Lincoln, Nebraska in the summer of 1973 to hold a summer leadership camp for student leaders. While there, Earl asked Ron Yackel, Executive Director of the Nebraska Association of Student Councils, about having a retreat for adults who worked with youth in student activities and especially student council.
They wanted to make this new retreat as much of a hands-on experience as possible, not just a workshop, but a true sharing of information and best practices, with assistance by the NASSP, Office of Student Activities, to spread the word. In December 1973, at the University of Nebraska Kellogg Center, NAWD, the National Association of Workshop Directors, was born.
NASSCED, the National Association of State Student Council Executive Directors, became a key supporting group, arranging their winter meeting at a date and time to coincide with the new NAWD retreat. For 2 years at Kellogg Center, and then for 5 years at Breach Academy in Kansas. With the closing of Breach Academy after 1980, the NAWD retreat and NASSCED winter meeting moved to various sites around the country.
By 1983, a hosting rotation was established, with each state creating a theme and atmosphere to make that gathering unique. The standard of class and excellence was set that year by the Louisiana Association of Student Council's Executive Director, Mr. Phil Gugliuzza, who hosted in New Orleans, starting a tradition that continues to this day, interrupted only by the COVID pandemic, which forced virtual conferences the past 2 years.
Over the next 4 decades, participants in the NAWD retreat, which eventually became the National Conference on Student Activities, have been treated to incredible professional and personal experiences from one corner of the nation to the other. The reach of NAWD expanded too, well beyond workshop and state executive directors, to a true professional community dedicated to the importance and continued growth of student activities.
Earl's vision of an annual retreat grew over those 4 decades. And with the assistance of executive directors Janelle Hodges from 1989 to 2013, and Jim Finnemeyer since 2014, NAWD grew from an idea kicked around in the summer of 1973 to a vibrant organization dedicated to serving the passionate adults who design, develop, implement, and support student activities.
While it has been over a decade since Earl Room passed away in 2010, his vision lives on and is stronger than ever. We remain dedicated to continuing the work and passion of our founder so that generations of activity advisors and student leaders to come will be inspired the same way we and those who came before us were inspired by Earl himself.
We invite those who never had the privilege of knowing Earl Room to visit our website and read a 1948 article from Life magazine about his time as a high school student leader, see his words of wisdom, watch classic video presentation of his speeches, and witness tributes as individuals from across the nation shared their remembrances of Earl. You'll be inspired too.
To this day, the legacy of Dr. Earl Room permeates what we do, how we do it, and who we serve. Thanks to the work and passion of Earl, there are several generations who identify themselves as Room kids. You'll see this phrase on t-shirts from time to time, including ones worn by current student activity advisors, developing what will become the next generation of Room kids.
Now, almost 5 decades have passed since that first meeting at the Kellogg Center in 1973. And while so much has changed all through those years, one thing has remained constant. The NAWD organization remains dedicated to the vision of our founder. Earl Room touched the lives of so many people, from his time as a student leader to becoming the master wizard of student leadership. While there were many who tried to imitate, Earl was the genuine, one of a kind.
While still serving our original audience of state executive directors and summer leadership camp workshop staff and directors, today's NAWD has expanded its reach to serve advisors from an ever-growing variety of activity organizations, administrators focused on improving school climate, and student leadership advocates.
We celebrate you, the advisors, administrators, advocates, and allies who, through your work and passion, define student activities as not only a profession, but a true calling. This is your organization. And in the spirit of our founder, Dr. Earl Room, we are excited to announce that as we enter our 50th year in 2022, we are rebranding our organization to reflect who we are, what we are all about, and where we are going.